Hi, I'm Ira Block, Sony Artisan of Imagery. In this video, you will learn about the key components of a photo, including composition. Many people just like to pick up their camera, grab their zoom lens, twist it, take a picture and walk away. That's not going to make great photos. I zoom with my feet. I try to get closer to my subject. When I get closer, I'm able to walk around the subject and explore the subject. Wow, maybe the light's better from the other side. Maybe the person has a better angle. Maybe the background's better. You need to explore your subject and walk around. And be very careful. When you're looking through the viewfinder, you tend to concentrate on what's going on in the middle of the frame. Train your eyes to look around the entire frame, not just the center. You've got all this space to use, and you want all the information in that picture to matter, to add to your picture. I like using wider lenses, like the 24-70, and working with it on the wider side. I like to show my subject in their environment. It gives you a lot more information. Plus, it looks much more intimate. When you're shooting with a long telephoto lens from across the street, the pictures have a look of a paparazzi. I was at a temple in Mongolia, and I saw this family, and I just got in close, and actually low angle with a wider lens, and got some candles in the picture, got some background, and got the people. In the next shot, I was at a bazaar in Morocco, and I was just walking around, again with a wider lens, and I got interested in the mirrors and the reflections. And I think in one of the mirrors you see a reflection of me, but I like the reflection of the baby in the mirror, the woman in the foreground, the guy selling the mirrors, and then you get the sense of background with the buildings and lights. 28 millimeters is my sweet spot for a lens length when I'm trying to do people and combine them with the background. And I could do it either using the 24-70, or if it's night and I need a faster lens, I'll switch to the 28 f2 prime. I saw this band playing. I love the color red on the guy with the drum, so I got close to him with a wider lens and still had the colors of the rest of the group in the background. So I was able to combine this foreground red with these other colors in the background. It gave some depth to my photo. I don't always have to put a person in the foreground. Here, I've used the old Cuban car in the foreground, and the person was in the background. And it still made a good picture because I kept the car big, and the car has terrific lines, and using all the different blue colors added to the layering of the photo. Another example is this baseball picture in Cuba, where I saw this family watching their son play ball. So I framed this child between the two parents. They created my foreground, and I had a wider lens so you get an expansive view of the background. And it's great that the woman has a bat in her hand. It tells the story. She's holding a baseball cap in her left hand, and you could see the kid throwing the ball between the two of them. I'm telling a story, and I'm using layers of foreground, middle ground, background. This is a really good example in Mongolia. I saw the two people working with the goat, and I had the yurts in the background, but there were some holes in the picture. So I just waited. The little girl moved in from the right. She filled the space. The guy moved in on the left. He filled the space. And then I really got lucky. And this dog walks by right in front of the yurt, and it filled the space. And if you look really carefully, in the far left, besides the guy, there's a horse. So I have different things going on, and they're filling the composition, plus they're leading your eye into the photo, and they're giving you more information, telling you a better story. Backgrounds can cause a lot of problems and distraction for you. You could have a busy background, you could have things growing out of people's heads. So a background could be bad for your picture, or if you look for a good background, it could be an added point to your picture. So I look for an interesting background, and then I wait for something to happen in front of it. Now, waiting takes time and waiting takes patience, but it's well worth it. Here's a picture in Cuba of Che Guevara, and I had people walking by it, and I waited and shot until this kid walks by with a red bag, and he's wearing red pants. And the red really worked well with the color of the background. So all my other pictures didn't work, this one did work, but I found the background first. I love the way this wall looked. It was just terrific colors, terrific texture, and then that little bit of laundry hanging in the window really looked great for me. And these kids were playing baseball, and I just waited until I had the right combination of things happening in front of the wall. The kid's head turning towards me. So he's looking at me, I'm getting a sense of the kid. The other kid's in the background, one kid's taking his shirt off. All these factors are working with the picture. And then I've got a couple of layers here. I have this kid in the foreground, the kid's in the middle ground, and then I've got my sensational background. I was shooting in the ballet school, I took a break, and I noticed this fantastic staircase with different layers happening. And I thought this would be a good starting point for a photo. And I saw some people coming up and down, and I set myself up, and I just waited until this group of ballet dancers started going down the staircase. They had the right color, the right body positions, it all worked out. So patience is really important. As long as we're talking about staircases, here's another shot I did with this young lady in the staircase. The light through the window looked good, so I positioned her, but I was so careful about the positioning. If you look, her head is framed right between that window frame. Had she moved her head to the left or the right, there may have been part of the window frame cutting through her head. So I was very careful on the way I framed her. It just has this magical look with the light coming behind her and then the lines of the staircase. I try to find unusual angles sometimes in my shooting. When we looked at that picture in the temple in Mongolia, I was at a low angle. Here, with this picture of the nuns in Myanmar, I'm at a high angle. How did I do all this? The flip-out screen on the Sonys is terrific. So for the low angle, I could just pull the screen out, drop down a little bit and get the camera really low. And for this one, flipped the screen out, raised it up over my head, and got the high angle. Now I waited on this one. I was shooting, waiting, and I finally got the moment where the little girl on the left turns her head up and looks at me. I had to stay there for quite a while with my arms up, but I was able to make the picture thanks to the flip-out screen. It really makes a difference. It's something that I never thought I would use, and I use it all the time now. So most times I like to shoot people and show their environment, but if the people have a terrific face, I'll go in close. The 90mm macro is a fantastic lens. It is so sharp. I love using it. And the other great thing, it's a 2.8 lens. In this picture, I was at the Chinese opera, and I got to go backstage. It was dark, but I had my 7R2, and I was able to set the ISO to 3200 and shoot at about a 2/50th of a second wide open at 2.8. And it really made some great pictures. I love the way the background goes out of focus and light sources just become, these beautiful dots in my picture. And you can just see the bouquet in this picture and how terrific the woman looks. I mentioned earlier about zooming with your feet, getting closer, walking around, taking different pictures. Work the scene, look around. Things will get better. Sometimes maybe not, but you've got to take that chance. You don't know until you try. So I was at this temple in Yangon, and I was shooting it. It was night, and I was moving around shooting it. And I've got a standard picture of it here. It looks nice, sky's nice, good color, but I wanted more. So I kept moving around, and I got the next picture, which has people in it, but it's still not doing it for me. It's a start. I'm thinking I want to show how big this temple is, so I really need to have some people in it for scale. This picture is starting to show the size, but it's too plain. Now, I've done something a little more. I've got a person in my foreground. It really shows the size. He's taking a picture with his camera phone, which is some sort of action. And if you look carefully in the lower right-hand corner, there's another person taking a picture with their camera phone. So I'm starting to get there. I'm starting to get a balance. Things are happening. I change to a vertical orientation, and I get a photo that's working even better maybe, and that's with the two monks doing a picture of themselves and a couple off to the side. So I'm never satisfied. You can't be satisfied if you're a photographer. You have to keep trying. There's always something better going on. You just have to find it. In this video, you learned about the key components of a photo, including composition. Keep all this in mind, keep practicing, and you'll take better pictures.